Statistics point to a notable drop in police-recorded crime during the first 6 months of the COVID-19 pandemic. Stats Canada says 17 police services across Canada reported that selected criminal incidents were down by 17% compared with the same period a year earlier. The lone exception was uttering threats by a family member, with police reporting 4% more incidents during the same period last year. In addition, the number of calls for service rose 8%, particularly wellness checks, mental health calls, and calls to attend domestic disturbances. When the physical distancing measures introduced in mid-March to control the pandemic started easing in May, the number of crimes and calls for service began to rise. The 17 police services providing data are some of the largest nationally and serve close to 60% of the population of Canada. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says the government is launching a $1.75 billion fund to expand high-speed internet to Canadians in rural and remote communities. Trudeau says the Universal Broadband Fund will see 98% of Canadians connected to high-speed internet by 2026, which is crucial in an era when virtual communication is an essential part of daily life. The program, announced originally in the Liberal government's 2019 budget as a $1 billion fund, includes $750 million of added cash to advance projects with partners such as the Federal Infrastructure Financing Agency. The added funding includes $150 million for streamlined projects, as well as a $600 million deal with Ottawa-based satellite company Telesat to link up particularly remote communities with high-speed broadband via satellite. An investigation into a fatal collision in June has resulted in a charge of impaired operation causing death. Sault Ste. Marie police have arrested and charged 20-year-old Matthew White. On June 26, officers responded to a collision in the 1000 block of People's Road involving a car and a bicycle. The 48-year-old man operating the bike was taken to hospital where he died from his injuries. Police determined drug impairment and speed to be factors in the crash. The accused was arrested earlier today. Approximately 350,000 Michigan families will continue to have access to additional food assistance benefits during the month of November as a response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Governor Gretchen Whitmer and the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services made that announcement today. Michigan previously approved the additional food assistance in March through June, and now that is being extended for the month of November. Eligible clients will see additional food assistance benefits on their Bridge card by November 30th, with payments beginning for some households on November 21st. Additional benefits will be loaded onto Bridge cards as a separate payment from the assistance that is provided earlier in the month. New federal support for Canada's pandemic-battered airline industry will be contingent on carriers providing refunds to passengers whose flights were cancelled. Transport Minister Marc Garneau laid out the requirement as he announced that Ottawa is ready to respond to the sector's desperate pleas for federal assistance by launching talks later this week. Canada's commercial airlines have been hit hard by COVID-19, with passenger levels down as much as 90% thanks to a combination of travel restrictions and fear of catching the illness. That has prompted airlines to furlough hundreds of pilots and technicians and discontinue dozens of regional routes since March. They have also canceled numerous pre-booked trips offering passengers credits or vouchers instead of refunds. Stay tuned, your local weather forecast is right up after this.
brings family and friends together, provides an outlet for creativity, a chance to experience other cultures, and can be rewarding and relaxing. However, did you know that cooking fires are the #1 cause for home fires and home injuries? Remember, watch what you heat. By following a few safety tips while cooking, you can prevent these fires from happening in your home. Cooking left unattended is the cause of 52% of all cooking fires. Be on alert. If you are distracted, sleepy, or have consumed alcohol or drugs, don't use the stove or the stovetop. Stay in the kitchen while you're frying, boiling, grilling, or broiling food. If you leave the kitchen for even a short period of time, turn off the stove. If you are simmering, baking, or roasting food, check it regularly. Remain in the home while the food is cooking and use a timer to remind yourself that you're cooking. Keep anything that can catch fire, like oven mitts, cooking utensils, cutting boards, and towels, away from your stovetop. Also, loose-fitting clothes can easily come into contact with stove burners and catch fire. Wear short sleeves, tight sleeves, or even roll them up when cooking. Have a kid-free zone of at least 3 feet or 1 meter around the stove in areas where hot food is being prepared or carried. If you have a small grease cooking fire and decide to fight the fire, do not panic. Keep a proper fitting pot lid near the stove when cooking. On the stovetop, smother the flames by sliding the lid over the pan and turning off the burner. If you don't have a lid, use a cooking sheet or a cutting board. Leave the pan covered until it is completely cooled. For an oven fire, turn off the heat and keep the door closed. If you have any doubt about fighting a cooking fire, just get out. When you leave, close the door behind you to help contain the fire, and call 911 from outside the home. Visit saultsaintmarie.ca/fire services for more information.
Algoma Public Health is reporting 8 new cases of COVID-19 in the district, bringing the total number of cases to 55. APH lists exposure as being unknown and that all are self-isolating, and that these recent cases are evidence of ongoing community spread in Sault Ste. Marie and area. None of the cases have traveled outside of Canada. APH reaches out directly to all close contacts, so if you're not contacted, you're not considered to be at risk. They're reminding everyone to guard against infection by maintaining social distance, wearing a mask, and limiting contact beyond your household. Ontario reported another record high in daily COVID-19 cases with 1,328 new infections within the previous 24 hours. Yesterday's total was well above the record-breaking tally reported Saturday when the province announced 1,132 new cases. The province also reported 13 new deaths associated with the coronavirus and said hospitalizations decreased by 10 over the past day. The vast majority of the cases were in Toronto, Peel, York Region, Ottawa, Hamilton, and Durham. Federal cabinet ministers are welcoming Joe Biden's election as the next U.S. president as an opportunity to advance the fight against climate change. Environment Minister Jonathan Wilkinson and Infrastructure Minister Catherine McKenna were among those to specifically mention climate change as they took to Twitter to welcome Biden's victory over Donald Trump. McKenna, who previously served as Canada's Environment Minister, appeared to take a veiled shot at the Trump administration by describing the last 4 years as a long, tough slog when it came to fighting climate change. Biden has promised that the U.S. will rejoin the Paris Climate Agreement after the Trump administration officially left the treaty last week. Porter Airlines is extending the suspension of its flights to February 11th due to the increasing COVID-19 cases and ongoing travel restrictions. The regional airline had hoped to restart service on December 15th. Porter says planning a restart after the traditionally slow post-holiday January period provides a reasonable opportunity to begin flying if conditions improve. It says it also gives more time for the development of rapid testing solutions. Porter grounded its fleet on March 21st amid the COVID-19 outbreak, with initial plans to take off again in early June, but has pushed its restart date back several times. Ontario is reporting 1,242 new cases of COVID-19 today and 12 deaths related to the virus. Health Minister Christine Elliott says there are 483 new cases in Toronto, 279 in Peel Region, 107 in York Region, 74 in Ottawa, and 57 in Hamilton. The province says there are 84 people in intensive care, with 54 on ventilators. More than 28,400 tests have been completed since the last daily update. The latest figures come as the province says it's increasing testing, contact tracing, and hospital resources in Peel Region as COVID-19 rates surge in that area. 3 new testing centres and a mobile testing unit will be established in Brampton to address increasing virus numbers in that city, while the province provides 70 more contact tracers to Peel Region's health unit and funding for 234 additional hospital beds. I'm Mike McDonald. We have more news and weather coming up.